Hey educators, welcome back to Educators Empowering Educators, where we turn everyday classrooms into powerful spaces for every learner. I'm Shelly, and today we're diving into the third C of our 5C strategy for supporting EAL learners, Customize. Customize is all about making sure your assessments measure what students know, not just how well they read or write in English. That means looking critically at your tests, quizzes, and projects, and making small tweaks that give EAL students an equal opportunity to shine. The truth is, many assessments test a student's English skills more than their actual understanding of the topic. In this session, we'll break down simple ways to customize assessments so EAL students can demonstrate their knowledge clearly, while keeping expectations high and fair. So grab your coffee and your lesson plan, and let's jump right in. Here's the thing, assessments are supposed to give us a clear picture of a student's understanding. And yes, they achieve that goal. But it's like asking an artist to paint a portrait, but only giving them two colors. Their creativity hasn't disappeared. You've just limited how they can express it. When we make customizations to assessments, it isn't about lowering standards. It's about removing the standardized roadblocks, so students can show what they know. And the good news? Most of these adjustments are simple and doable in any classroom. There are several ways you can do this. One way is using visuals. Include label diagrams, charts, or pictures to support understanding. For example, in a science test on ecosystems, add images of deserts, rainforests, and tundra. Another way is simplifying instructions. Break multi-step directions into short, clear sentences. For instance, instead of explain how photosynthesis works in plants and describe the process in detail, you could write Step 1. What does the plant need to make food? Step 2. What happens next? The last way to adapt an assessment for your EAL learner is to use sentence starters or word banks. Provide a framework so students can organize their answers. Example, a desert is blank because it has blank. These small adjustments ensure that students demonstrate what they know rather than being blocked by language. Let's see this in action. Miss Lee teaches 5th grade science and wants to give a test about ecosystems. She noticed her EAL students were struggling with the language in previous tests, even though they understood the content. So she made a few key adjustments. She added label pictures of different ecosystems, simplified instructions into step-by-step prompts. She provided sentence starters. A desert is blank because it has blank. The results? Students can show their understanding clearly. One student, Amir, who usually froze on tests, completed the sentence starters and added drawings of the desert and rainforest, demonstrating comprehension without being blocked by language. This is a perfect example of customizing assessments. Students can shine without the language barrier getting in the way. Ready for some quick wins? Here are 3 simple ways you can start adapting your assessments today. Tip number 1, use consistent formatting. Keep the question layouts predictable so students spend their brain power on the actual thinking, not decoding a new test structure. Tip number 2, read directions out loud. This removes one barrier before they even pick up their pencil. And tip number 3, highlight keywords so students instantly see exactly what's being asked. Small changes like these can make a dramatic difference in how accurately you can see what your students really understand. Our second approach is to give students multiple ways to show what they know. Because here's the truth, if a student can explain the water cycle perfectly out loud, but struggles to write it down, why wouldn't we accept this as evidence of learning? Let's go over some options for your EAL learners to show you what they know. Oral interviews, audio recordings, labeled diagrams, portfolio projects. Let me show you what this looks like in action from a real classroom I coached, where giving assessment options completely changed the outcome for 2 EAL students. I was coaching Ms. Lopez, a 6th grade science teacher with 2 new EAL students from Brazil. She noticed that whenever she gave a unit test, these students scored far lower than their daily work suggested. On paper, they looked like they were failing, but in class discussions, they could explain the life cycle of a plant in detail. During an observation, I realized that the issue wasn't the science. It was the language load on the test. The instructions were dense and the questions used idioms. Together, we made 2 changes. First, we simplified the instructions into one clear sentence per step. And then we added labeled diagrams so students could match terms visually. On the next assessments, their scores jumped by 20 to 25 points. The science understanding was always there. They just needed a clearer doorway to show it. This case is a perfect example of why we need to customize assessments, adapting them so every student can truly demonstrate what they know. If you're thinking, that sounds great, but how do I manage it? Here are some tips. Tip number 1, offer 2 formats per unit, one oral, one written. Tip number 2, use tech tools like Nearpod or Padlet to collect alternative responses. And tip number 3, make sure grading criteria focuses on content mastery, not just language mechanics, unless language is a specific learning goal. Let's quickly recap what we've covered today. This is the third C of our 5C strategy, customize. Customizing is all about making assessments adaptable to each EAL learner. We discussed why it's important to keep assessments consistent in their formatting. We also highlighted 2 simple supports, reading directions out loud and emphasizing keywords. Then, we explored the idea of offering students multiple ways to show what they know, whether that's through oral interviews, audio recordings, labeled diagrams, or portfolio projects. Next, we looked at how simplifying instructions and adding visuals can make a huge difference. After that, we discussed using tech tools like Nearpod and Padlet to collect alternative responses, making it easier to offer choices without adding tons of extra work. Finally, we saw how giving students options to show you what they know can reveal the true depth of their understanding, even when language is still developing. All of these strategies show the power of customize. Adapting assessments is crucial for every student to have a fair chance to show what they truly know in their own way. Well, thanks for joining me today. In our next video, we'll dive into our next C of the 5C strategy, cultivate, where we'll learn how to build a language-rich classroom for our EAL students. If you tried any of today's strategies, share your experience in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a tip from educators empowering educators.